In 2024, Jennifer Lopez gave us an incredible gift. She released her first album in 10 years, a feature-length musical film accompaniment of the same name, and a documentary following its creation.
There's like the album that I made that was very honest about kind of wanting to capture this moment in time of reconnecting with a love, and then it wasn't done.
Together, these three elements converge to give us an unfathomably revealing look into J.Lo's expansive, freakish mind. Grab onto a synapse, baby, because we are about to soar.
The genius that is Ben Affleck. It has nothing to do with me.
This is me. In it. The new album, This Is Me Now, is a response to her third studio album, 2002's This Is Me Then. You know, the one with Jenny from the Block on it. I'm still Jenny from the Block. It was dedicated to her then-fiancé Ben Affleck, and then they broke up for good in early 2004. 20 years later, miraculously, they got back together, and this event inspired the new album, a strange mirror image of the first. The nature of this three-point project, its extreme focus on their relationship, the creatively cooked concept of a J.Lo feature-length music video, and the probing eyes of documentary cameras capturing every tragic, baffling detail of its construction, was the perfect recipe for, I think, one of the most fascinating pop culture moments of all time.
I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx. Crazy little girl.
So what happened here? Why did J.Lo do this? To find out, we need to start at the beginning. We need to start at Gigli. Gigli is good. Now, this movie is notorious for being hated and despised. It won several Razzies, including Worst Picture, Worst Actor, Worst Actress, Worst Screenplay, Worst Director, Worst Screen Couple. But considering the deluge of sludgy 2000s movies that exist with similar themes, humor, and low-down nasty energies, I actually don't know why Gigli is quite so hated. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand why you might find this movie repulsive. It is. But it's also kind of iconic. For the uninitiated, Gigli goes a little something like this. Ben Affleck is Larry Gigli, a nasty boy, low-quality, foolish goon, a lackey for some kind of mafia guy.
Is it you? Has some money that belongs to Lewis? No.
He kidnaps a mentally disabled man called Brian for blackmail purposes, and then Jennifer Lopez, character name Ricky, shows up at Gigli's house, and she is so sexy. Oh my god.
Hi.
Damn, woman spotted. We found a woman. And we discover that this movie is about Ben Affleck being attracted to Jennifer Lopez.
Oh yeah.
Turns out that Gigli's boss hired her to keep an eye on him for this task because he doesn't trust him.
I want you to work with her. And I want you to watch her, as she will be watching you.
So Gigli's a little bit mad, a little bit rageful.
Okay, I don't know who the fuck you think you are.
It's at this moment that we get our first glimpse of the true warped depths of this character as he delivers a strange speech about how cool and tough he is, which is so embarrassing, so straightforwardly cringe, that it immediately enters icon territory.
You wanna be a gangster? You wanna be a thug? You sit at my fucking feet. Gather the pearls that emanate forth from me.
This blustering, sad misogynist just became my new Blorbo. Get ready for my Larry Gigli Tumblr fan art, because it's coming. You're gonna hate it. Ricky is not impressed or intimidated by this.
Don't you worry your little gangster head about it.
So the two of them have to live together in Gigli's apartment to keep watch over this guy and each other. They're a sort of odd couple.
Well, you'll kill me, huh? Fuck you, go ahead!
This is the dynamic we are about to watch for 2 hours. It is infuriating, eye-rolling, and also kind of great. Larry Gigli simply hates women so much, and it is mesmerizing.
In every relationship, there's a bull and a cow. It just so happens that in this relationship right here with me and you, I'm the bull. You're the cow. All right? Bull. Cow. You got that?
Yeah, I got it. Bull cow.
They have to sleep in the same bed for some reason, which is very exciting for Gigli.
There's your bull. Right there. There's your bull. And there's the horn.
But now he learns the sad truth. Oh no, the woman is gay.
What about me is not your type?
Your penis.
So here's my take on J.Lo. If the movie only leaned into the loser incel played for laughs energy that we see in this bull talk,
There's your bull.
it could have been a cult classic. But what truly makes J.Lo interesting as a movie is that it wants us to laugh at this pathetic, hateful, insular Larry J.Lo and his transparent bravado, but it also wants us to sympathize with him, to take seriously that he's a good guy underneath it all, who just needs some love, maybe. The gang, Ricky, J.Lo, and their kidnapped adult son, are sitting down at a fast food place, and some guys at another table are playing loud music.
Hey, you want to turn that down? You fucking turn it down.
Uh-oh. J.Lo wants to start up rage mode with them, but Ricky's like, don't worry, I got this. And she gives a speech about how she knows really hardcore martial arts moves.
Deep thrust, hooking around, and securing the ocular nerve.
I guess this is supposed to be cool and badass, but it's like, are we to believe that these men took her seriously? Jennifer Lopez delivers this dialogue like an English teacher impressing her idiot students with a basic philosophy quote, so it just doesn't quite work.
I want you guys to study hard and keep your grades up, all right?
But I guess it does work. They're like, okay. The trio get up and leave, and Ben Affleck gets to deliver one of the greatest lines of any movie.
Nice computer. Is suckmydick.com.
Ricky now explains to J.Lo that his propensity for immediate violence and nastiness comes from being all sad inside.
When men are little boys, they're encouraged not to cry, not to show their sadness, so they're forced to find other ways to let those feelings out. And as I'm sure you know, fighting and getting angry are much more acceptable male behaviors.
Yes, she has just invented the concept of toxic masculinity. Anyway, they go to visit J.Lo's mother for reasons I've forgotten, and she loves Ricky immediately.
What a beauty.
Ma.
What? I'm just saying.
I really like the way Jennifer Lopez says,
She thinks I'm beautiful.
that's so cute to me, I like that. I think J.Lo has some sparkling moments in this movie, and this is one of them. J.Lo's mother is like, wow, you're so beautiful. Why aren't you allowing my son to make love to you right now, huh?
Are you and Larry sweethearts?
Ma.
Before you answer, let me say up front that I hope so.
And she's like, oh, I'm gay, is why. I'm gay.
She's a lesbian.
To which J.Lo's mom is like, oh, okay.
I wasn't always just Larry's mother. I used to be quite experimental.
Lesbian.
J.Lo is having a hard time coping with the fact that the woman he wants to kiss and smooch is, in fact, attracted to women. He keeps asking her about it, and so she explains in a way that is highly titillating to J.Lo, of course, why she loves vagina,
Firm, delicious. Lips, sweet lips.
and hates the penis.
The penis is like some sort of bizarre sea slug or like a really long toe.
That's writing, you know what I mean? Wow. I do love that he's just on the verge of tears listening to this. He's absolutely gone, okay, she seems to love women very much and conversely find men to be unappealing and hideous. I'm sure nothing will complicate or contradict that later. Soon, Ricky's recent former girlfriend shows up, upset about their breakup.
How about if I roundhouse you upside your fat fucking head and collapse your skull?
I don't know. How about I give it a shot?
No, don't, because she knows how to do that stuff, okay?
Accuses her of leaving her for a man and severely hurts herself in front of them. While Gilly and Brian watch Ricky attend to her in the hospital through the car windshield, they discuss how pretty she is.
A woman is fucking beautiful.
And bond over being hetero.
Naming my penis sneeze.
So, you know, Gilly thinks about how cute Ricky is for a while and then gives her another delightful little speech about how sad he is that he can't have sex with her.
You know why I'm fucking sad? Because I got this fucking beautiful, sexy, gorgeous, untouchable, unhavable, unattainable brick wall fucking Dicosaurus Rexi. I feel fucking sadness about that.
This is him expressing his feelings, by the way. You can't get mad at him. This is untoxic masculinity. This is a guy telling you he's sad, so you can't say he's nasty.
My life sucks.
And now comes the bizarre conclusion to this arc. Jennifer Lopez is like, hey, look at your hands.
You think your fingernails need trimming?
And he does. And she's like, you did that the gay way.
Those who are balanced more toward the masculine of either sex check their fingernails this way. And those balanced more toward the feminine check them that way.
And you know what that means?
And I just had a feeling that even though you have this tough guy thing going on, that you are wrestling with some very strong feminine leanings.
That means you're expressing your internal femininity. And you know what that means? I'm attracted to you. Because in a way, if you think about it, you're a woman.
Ow.
What?
Do you need a woman?
I got one.
A man who talks about his feelings is kind of a woman. Even if those feelings are, I'm sad I can't put my thingy inside of you. Even though 10 minutes ago I talked about how much I hated the gruesome male poingus. Don't worry about that. I have now made you a woman in my mind. Superiority of the vagina be damned. She wants that sad man to show her his sea cucumber. They find out that Brian is the relative of a judge and that they're now embroiled in a terrible plan to force the judge to drop a case against Al Pacino, who is in this movie.
Hello?
They're asked to cut Brian's thumb off and send it to the judge to escalate negotiations, but they don't want to do that.
I gotta tell you, I'm not up for this thumb deal.
So they just steal a thumb from a corpse, as you do. After this, they get called in to see Pacino, who shoots their boss in front of them and says, "Guys, are you stupid? That was not Brian's thumb. Come on, guys."
Whatever you choose to call it. A thumb has a fingerprint. And the one you sent had the wrong fucking one.
Gigli struggles to think of anything to say here, but Ricky, the quick-thinking genius of the duo, tells him, okay, our boss's abduction plan was stupid. The thing we did with the dead guy's thumb was silly.
You were gonna extort a federal prosecutor.
And you killing us right now would also be a bit foolish, no?
If you think that's any less dumb than asking to have his finger cut off, well, then that would be the thing that you should do.
We'll just go set our abductee free right now, okay? And Al Pacino's like, yeah, okay, all right, Queen, go do that.
I feel like I'm floating.
Brian, throughout the movie, has been obsessed with going to the Baywatch, which is what he thinks is the real Baywatch that he can visit and become part of somehow.
The Baywatch.
Yeah, the Baywatch.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're driving Brian to go take him home and end this whole balked thing, and they come across some kind of beach TV set that he interprets as the fabled Baywatch.
Oh my god, oh my god! They're open! They're open! Oh my god! The Baywatch! The Baywatch! The Baywatch! They're open! They're open! They're open!
That's the Baywatch?
Gigli and Ricky decide to just drop him off there so he can enjoy gazing at some women, and now that they're alone at the end of their adventure, they can have a special, emotional parting moment.
If you do ever think about hopping the fence, promise you give me a call first.
Ricky says, I don't like men, but you're different, I guess. You're special.
You know, the whole man thing doesn't really hold that much for me, usually.
I know.
But somehow you got through.
You could be the most special man in the world. And she drives off into the distance forever. Sad, sad, sad. But oh my god, she changes her mind, comes back.
I bet you'd look awesome in some mascara.
And they drive off together while the music swells and we cut back to Brian, staring at the women, the world beautiful and right at last, now that the two men have achieved their singular goal, unfettered sexual access to women. Hooray! And that's Gigli. There's your bull, there's your horn. It's hard to believe that Ben Affleck actually met on this set, that this movie was not constructed from the ground up to say, look everyone, that's J.Lo and Ben Affleck, they are making love. But that's really where it all began. That's where the magic started. Back to J.Lo's movie. So something's there in Gigli, a dark, swirling love that sucks up the whole movie and subsumes it. Ben Affleck's tortured freak gaze is real. Jennifer Lopez's transparent, nonchalant, cool girl character here is maybe integral to all that is about to befall her. In 2024, she will make her movie. Clang goes the heart, slop goes the mud. So you might be thinking, dearest Mothcub, why did you talk about that terrible movie? And okay, aside from its alluring position as the catalyst for the creation of Ben Affleck, it's also interesting to look at the gendered nature of these movies and their presentations of romance. In Gigli, the man is the great masculine force that can crack open the nut of lesbianism. I'm sorry for saying that. There's lip service paid to his own supposed gender transcendence, but ultimately, man gets woman. In This Is Me Now, J.Lo tells a much more feminine type romance story, one where lady suffering is the jewel at the center of love, where crushing and reconstitution of the self in the therapy world is really the key to it all. In Gigli, Jennifer Lopez is Ben Affleck's prize, and in This Is Me Now, Ben Affleck is Jennifer Lopez's prize. But these are very, very different movies. In This Is Me Now, the true love is not so much a prize to be won, but instead a kind of externalization of J.Lo's self-worth. You know, guy movie versus woman movie. I'm your hummingbird, baby. Open your eyes. Hummingbird, I be sending you signs. This Is Me Now is about a woman who gets her heart broken and experiences pains and such. It starts with this generic illustrated intro that kind of slides into view like the opening of a made-for-TV Disney movie, and let me just do my own illustrated version of the story actually. You'll love this. You'll love this. So it's a Puerto Rican fairy tale called Alida and Teru. Alida was the sexy princess of a tribe, and she loved going down to her local pool to hang out and splish splash. There, she met an alluring, mysterious boy who told her straight away, "Hey girl, I'm not from your tribe, I'm from the nasty enemy tribe you guys fought a while back. I just live here on my own in the woods, TBH." She thought he was a major cutie, of course, so they became besties and fell in love. They kept meeting at the pool in secret every day, knowing her tribe wouldn't be into it, but one day they were spotted by some guys who knew her dad. And when they told her dad, he was like, "Alright, it's arranged marriage time. Yeah, you're gonna marry Two Tooth Phil. Sorry. That's the way it is." Alida really didn't want to do that, so she prayed and asked God to do anything to save her from this fate. Come on, God, I don't care what you do. Just get me out of this thing. Get me away from Two Tooth Phil. So God turned her into a rose and was like, "There you go, girl. You're welcome. You smell really good now." And she was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." Teru, meanwhile, still went to the pool every day, and after a few days, he was like, "Ugh, where is my girlfriend? Where is my GF?" And the moon in the sky happened to be looking down at him, and she thought, "Damn, I hate to see this." So she said, "Hey Teru, bro, I heard your GF actually asked God to save her from an arranged marriage to some guy, and she ended up getting turned into a rose. Sucks, man. I'm really sorry, but if it helps, maybe I could turn you into a hummingbird, and you could like fly around and smell all of the roses until you find the one rose that's actually your girlfriend." And Teru was like, "Yeah, I guess so. I don't have a better idea. Hummingbird my ass." The next morning, everyone spotted this weird new bird flying around and incredibly hovering like a bee over each flower. What? They liked that. They thought that was really cool, and they listened to the buzz of this bird's hurried wings, and they said, "Let's call that a hummingbird." Yeah, guys? And to this very day, Teru still looks for Alida in every red rose, but he is yet to find her. So that's the story, the bittersweet tale of a destroyed love which, in spite of its destruction, still brings a unique, new kind of beauty into the world. J.Lo's invocation of Alida and Teru is interesting to me because it sort of ignores the dark, freakish creation of the hummingbird, the real twisted nature, the allegory for social divisions, to enjoy its romantic aspect in a more straightforward way.
Alida turned to the gods to save her from this fate. So they turned her into a red flower.
To J.Lo, the hardship of Alida and Teru's separation reflects not a destructive, futile prejudice and the beauty that unstoppably bursts forth from it anyway, but the hardship of just trying to have relationships with men who keep ending up nasty.
You listen to that crap.
Baby, what? In her 2014 book, True Love, which largely reflects on her divorce from Mark Anthony, she says that her romantic relationships all had a passionate intensity that she mistook for her happily ever after. In each relationship, she says, "I thought my childhood fairy tale was coming to life." And that was all that mattered to me at the time. I think this image is too powerful for her. The endless, unquenchable yearning, that's relatable, I get it, but it's fascinating that she chooses this fairy tale in particular, one that centers a love never fully realized, as the motif of her film. When you see a hummingbird flitting from flower to flower, it is Taru, searching for his true love.
It is Taru, searching for his true love.
So here, J.Lo is Taru, and she needs to get nose deep into a few more roses. We start the movie proper with Jennifer on a motorbike with... is that Ben? Is that Benjamin Affleck Bolt? Oh no, what the hell? This bike accident is a metaphor for breaking up with Ben Affleck, and it introduces us to the melodramatic tone of this movie. We zoom into Jennifer's heart as it's being broken.
We had no love for each other. We had no love for ourselves.
This is the Heart Factory, and it's all going very wrong in here.
It's gonna break!
Pedal level critical. Heart rupture imminent.
A lot of things are clanging around in here, a lot of things are steaming and so on. I really like this concept, the industrial setting, the assembly lines of heart workers, and the mud. Oh my god, the mud. She sings about haters, which is always what you want from a pop icon. She got hella haters and they hella mad.
She got hella haters and they hella mad.
And she has a line referencing Jenny from the Block, where the block in this case is getting blocked on Twitter.
They see it's the same old Jenny won't block me.
I love the brazenness of this line, but she takes it a step further with one of my favorite moments of the whole album. This syllable stuffed, don't be fooled by the rocks that I got.
Perfect timing, don't be fooled by the rocks I got.
You absolutely did it, girl. You got all those words in there. And she's passing out. She's dying a bit. This is such a fun scene to start off the movie with, and I wish more than anything that the rest of it has been half as inventive and visually interesting. There's some fun things here and there, but from now on we pretty much just get Jennifer in a room, Jennifer in a big house. Okay, next scene. It's revealed that this was her gorgeous dream, which she describes to her therapist, who is tired of her.
What sign is your wife?
We're not here to talk about me.
Come on.
Leo.
You guys fight a lot, right?
Let's get back to you.
She's dazed and haunted by her heartbreak, which the movie lets us know through stock horror movie effects, and we enter a lengthy sequence of bad J.Lo relationships, which can't seem to decide between taking a silly, tongue-in-cheek tone,
Why my poop green?
or a more brooding and serious one.
It just means that you like everything perfect.
We also have Ben Affleck again as this weird newscaster.
The number one question people asked was, what is love?
He is here to say choice lines.
The top 10 questions are, what should I watch? Where my refund? How you like me now?
And he's Alex Jones for some reason.
Why my poop green?
Jennifer's new man is a Libra.
That's you, Libra.
And he drinks and spits. They do some manhandling choreo, and we see a very on-the-nose portrayal of domestic abuse, which culminates in J.Lo picking up a glass shard. No, girl, be careful!
Catch me on it.
Then all the glass breaks in a powerful visual metaphor. So, astrology is a big thing in this movie.
Libra.
J.Lo loves it. She talks about it in her documentary.
In my own search for love, I tried a lot of different things. I went to card readers and looked to the signs, and it led me down a lot of questionable roads.
And all the astrological signs are characters in this movie.
Fuck Libras.
They watch her from above.
I don't get it.
They monitor her life, and most importantly, they're played by various celebrities. Kim Petras is here.
No, nobody likes a drunk boy.
She gives her role as Virgo a perfect, insane camp madness.
Yeah.
And it's sad that she's the only one truly elevating it to the freak zone. Neil deGrasse Tyson is also pretty good here as Taurus. He's weird enough to sell it for me, and I think it's fun to cast the #1 astrology hater in an astrological role.
Let's not give ourselves too much credit. We are the Zodiacal Council.
You just know this guy is thinking about astronomy to cope right now. This dude is thinking about telescope.
Yeah, it was a little weird. You know, the Zodiac come to life, and the Zodiac is, The
celebs are concerned because J.Lo is marrying all the men, and there's something undeniably iconic about this chorus being the soundtrack to her strange, nightmarish parade of husbands.
You know I can't get enough. I let it. You know I can't get enough.
Like, there's a vision here. There are the occasional threads of something that could have been really self-aware and weird and fun and goofy and less of a straightforward ode to being a romantic and being real. It also doesn't help that the script oscillates between Disney Channel-esque dialogue
Stop stealing.
and perfume ad voiceover.
Feels like home. But I left home for a reason.
J.Lo's strange group of friends stage an intervention because she just has too many boyfriends.
It's an intervention.
I like how completely unserious this last one is.
Why don't you tell me why you think I needed it? Oh, no.
But it's about to get really serious. We are entering the dead, serious zone now. Jennifer Lopez must confront and reckon with herself. She gives a desperate, tearful little speech to her friend about how, she just wants love. Why is that so crazy?
What is wrong with wanting to spend your life with someone?
And I like this. I think it would have benefited from being a more textured, considered build-up of her character, but I like that this movie communicates both how much she really does need help and how normal it is for her to have these desires and be frustrated at her friends in this moment.
Why does everybody act like that is so crazy?
What is a relationship addict? It seems like everyone around her is keenly aware that she can't stop making bad choices with men, but the movie itself feels constantly torn between honoring J.Lo's noble romantic nature and eternal belief in love, and commenting on her blinkered need to perceive relationships as fairy tales, these pure, destined truths. She rails against her friends because there's nothing wrong with wanting love, but then she does indeed go to the relationship addicts group. The movie then reflects this discomforting contradiction in every moment, trying always to celebrate the true, pure, ultimate beauty of love, and at the same time to address the unquenchable insecurity it brings. Jennifer cries many times in the behind-the-scenes documentary, and you get the very real sense that this is all a cope. This is J.Lo scrambling for a greater meaning for her life and all of its horrible mistakes. She is determined to present the beauty and strength of love, the glittering hummingbird, but at the same time, her friends are right. She is cooked.
It's very romantic, but it's not real love.
In the next scene, as she begins a process of grief following this confrontation, she's watching The Way We Were and mouthing Barbra Streisand's pleading dialogue like a mantra.
You'll never find anyone as good for you as I am, to believe in you as much as I do or love you as much.
I know that.
Well, then why?
So let's talk about The Way We Were for a second. The Way We Were is about a horrible, doomed relationship between intensely principled Katie.
There's only one thing to be scared of. And it's not me. It's not the Young Communist League. And it's not the Red Bogeyman.
And hunky fellow former student Hubble, who just wants to chill and vibe and pass out. He's a sleepy guy.
Coffee. Yeah.
They're completely mismatched from the beginning.
I don't want to behave myself. I don't care about behaving myself.
Then don't.
Katie thinks she can force Hubble to be a better person and guide him to be a celebrated author.
And all that yammering about selling your novel to Hollywood, I hope that's supposed to be funny.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're too good for Hollywood, that's why.
And Hubble, who becomes a screenwriter and just wants to do whatever the shareholders want for an easy, if creatively dead-ended life, gets too mad at her for protesting against McCarthyism.
We don't have free speech in this country. We never will have.
We never will if people aren't willing to take a stand for what's right. Hubble, people are their principles.
Oh, God.
And cheats on her while she's pregnant.
I'm getting rid of some things in my apartment. There's some champagne.
Hubble is a nasty fuck, but Katie will never give up on their love, lowering herself into a pit of abject desperation for him, even long after they've left each other's lives. It's an anti-romantic movie, interested in the weird passion that brings and keeps them together, despite the manipulative, mismatched, and deeply uncomfortable relationship they have.
Sure, I make waves. You have to, and I'll keep making them until you're every wonderful thing you should be and will be.
It shapes their lives, and even though it's absolutely horrible, Katie's dedication to the stinky man is played as sort of pure and noble despite its nastiness. So it's no wonder these words, her righteous begging to keep her disinterested shit man, are the ones that J.Lo identifies with.
You'll never find anyone as good for you as I am, to believe in you as much as I do or love you as much.
I know.
There is this huge sense of suffering as a worthy price to pay for true love. It has to be worth something, right? It can't have all been for nothing. Something in it had to have been beautiful. Tell me, did Ben Affleck have vine leaves in his hair? Back to the plot. J.Lo goes to her Lovers Anonymous meeting and talks about her pain. I had a broken heart once.
Had a broken heart once.
I used to think it was everybody else that was broken, but now I think maybe it was just me.
You know, I used to think that it was everybody else that was broken. Maybe it was just me.
And then we enjoy a dance sequence. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the movie. Maybe, after all, the movie is at its best when it's actually just doing music video type stuff. And you know, it's also just nice to have an understated moment that isn't full of wedding decorations or flat SFX or like sci-fi IKEA stuff. There's a line in the song where she says, "I loved you more than me."
Loved you more than me.
This is a revealing line that obviously fits with the movie's shift into self-reflection. It feels like a glimpse at something further down, like we're actually getting somewhere with this character.
10 years and 3 divorces later.
Had a nasty relationship? Had a bad breakup? Well, that's it, I guess. You failed, and you suck. Go to your cave. That's such a real and raw feeling that looms over many of us, and I think exploring the crushing weight of that could be great, but it falls down trying to do that and also be a brag movie for J.Lo's own real husband. Damn girl, you're trying to have it all, and on some level, that is the cope we all crave. Like, I get it, J.Lo, I am with you. What if this guy is actually my whole world, and it's awesome? What then? Maybe the hummingbird never finds its flower.
Maybe the hummingbird never finds its flower.
Unbeknownst to her, the hummingbird is there. Oh my god, look, Jennifer, the hummingbird. Looks like your perfect guy might be out there waiting for you after all. Turn around, J.Lo. Turn around, J.Lo. Look at the hummingbird. So after going to the Love Addicts group, Jennifer becomes a kind of depressed shell of a person. She's destroyed. She's like, love isn't real. Peace.
There are no soulmates. There are no signs, no happily ever after.
Again, I wish the movie had taken this change a little bit more seriously instead of having it just feel like a brief goth mind interlude.
It's life, innit?
She talks to her therapist about a spooky dream she had about being back in the Bronx, baby, Castle Hill, New York.
And it was like foggy and dark and creepy as shit.
Where her dirty child self approaches her like a demon in the night and says, I didn't get enough love from you. I did not get enough love.
I didn't get enough love.
Perfect line delivery. Thank you, child. And she's like, no, I'm sorry. I love you, child me.
I love you.
Mwah. So here's the true turning point of the movie. Guess what, ladies? J.Lo has to love herself and heal her inner child who is mad and rageful.
Fire!
And they're gonna sing about it.
This is me now.
This song, This Is Me Now, the album's title track, is here so that the child and adult Jenny can sing it together and celebrate their coming together, her realization that what she needs love-wise is herself. But the song is really more about getting a second chance with your man Ben. It's about how good it feels that Ben's here again. The self-loving chorus gives way to verses about how epic it is to be back with your man.
The double, the shine, the green of the diamond.
That's a reference to her engagement ring, which is green. There's two lines in the song that fascinate me most, though. The opening line is, I watched my mother miss out on her life.
I watched my mother miss out on her life.
An arresting line that positions romantic love as something that can strip a woman's individuality from her. In the second verse, she sings, when I was a girl, they'd ask me what I'd be. A woman in love is what I grew up wanting to be.
A woman in love
love is what I grew up wanting to be.
Now, hearing that alongside that mournful opening line, I thought the song was going to tell us something about the shock of discovering love's low point. But that's not quite what's going on. The song feels like it's getting at this, a change in motivation from romantic ideals to self-love and preservation, perhaps. But then it just drops all of that to say, anyway, I love my husband. I love my husband. We put in work, overcame all the disasters. This is me now, with you, right? With Ben. And so we can see J.Lo on the rooftop having this beautiful moment with her child self, but we're listening to a song about how fulfilled this man makes her right now. It rings hollow, and this child meeting feels rapid and weightless. You know, she's healed now. It just happened. She saw her little girl self, and she's okay. At this point, the pure bliss of the moment brings the Heart Factory back online. Yes, we're going back to the workers.
Baby, you know when you want me.
Girl, stop begging for a crumb of Affleck and show me those dance moves. Okay, Michael Jackson Thriller. The Heart Factory is now so strong that it sends a laser beam up to the Sky Celebs, and Kim Petras does a little screech. She's frightened. You've frightened her. Neil deGrasse Tyson explains that this is real science.
We're all made of stardust.
Stardust.
Ancient energy from the stars.
Yeah. Back on Earth, J.Lo is attending the wedding of her friend, and she's a serene, angelic figure, now enlightened.
Felt good to be there alone.
You liar. You're lying, girl. Lie. But now that she's healed at last, she can be rewarded with a reinforcement of the true goodness of romantic love. She sees that damn hummingbird, and she thinks, oh, I gotta dance with that thing. Man, this dance is awkward. She should kiss the hummingbird. Go on, give that hummingbird a kiss. Just mwah, right on the beak. And that's the movie. Although notable here is that 10 seconds into the credits, we get to hear the worst lyric on the album.
Missing your body, climbing on top of me, slipping inside of me.
Okay, girl, I get it. You love that PMS. Good for you, I guess. And Neil deGrasse Tyson pops off a little Gigli reference for the Gigli lovers in the house. Me, literally, me.
You mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Mary Oliver says in her poem Her Grave, does the hummingbird think he himself invented his crimson throat? He is wiser than that, I think. And the thing is that yes, we try to cope with the fuckeries of life in any way we can, and one of the ways is to self-helpify the bad stuff. You know, this taught me to advocate for myself, or I realized that this horrible thing was part of God's plan, part of the rich tapestry of life. There's another angel in heaven now, and they let him play Skyrim for 8 hours a day up there, that kind of thing. Someone then must be inventing our crimson throats, whether God or the stars or J.Lo herself, by incorporating the devastating red into a worldview that can keep her walking. The concept of wholeness descends on her in the form of this moderately ugly CGI bird. Let's dance. That's all that we have left. And I get it. You have to invent your own life, and boy did she try.
Have you ever heard the story of Alita and Teru?
So now we need to talk about the most potent section of this trifold circus of media magic, the documentary. The greatest love story never told, baby. Okay, stop screaming. Maybe you've seen the clip where she talks about being a wild freak running around in the Bronx, a wild, crazy girl let loose like a rat on the roads of the Bronx, baby, bing bong.
I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx. Running up and down the block. Crazy little girl who used to fucking be wild and no limits, all dreams and shit.
But almost every single moment of this documentary is just as exhilarating and strange. While This Is Me now suggests a kind of desperate, deluded romanticization of J.Lo's sinister romantic life, The Greatest Love Story Never Told makes it pretty explicit. No one could try harder than Jennifer Lopez is trying.
I let people know, like, don't give up. Do it. Don't be afraid. Fuck it. Do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
Immovable object meets unstoppable force as she scrambles to both say, I was not okay when this relationship ended.
I didn't just feel like I lost the love of my life. I felt like I lost, like, the best friend that I ever had.
And I love this relationship. This relationship is perfection.
She showed us the box that Ben had given her, which included all the letters. First off, who does that? This guy gets boyfriend of the year as far as I'm concerned.
Girl, decide whether you want me to love or hate Ben. I cannot do both. I am a simple woman. I need to slam one of the buttons. But okay, let's run through it all. It is an experience like no other, and you have to understand. You have to see. The floodgates open. The doc opens with a brief moment of apparent self-awareness as J.Lo goes, yes, guys, I know I looked crazy probably.
I've been married 4 times now. I'm sure people watching from the outside were like, what is this fucking girl's problem?
But I'm normal and not insane, promise.
All of that was kind of bullshit.
So she talks about what this album and album movie project is all about. Telling her truth. Being real.
I'm real, I thought I told you. I'm real even on no bruh.
But I gotta ask, after having seen the movie, what truth?
I have decided to tell my story or tell my truth that I've never shared with anybody in the world.
The truth that you like your husband? Sure, she references experiencing pain and stuff on the album, but like, what's so revealing about it? All she reveals is that she was sad when she lost her boyfriend, which I actually could have figured out without her saying anything because I'm an empath. I'm tuned in. Okay, so we see her without makeup at home in this documentary, and I guess that's pretty real. I like seeing it. In fact, when she first showed up like that, I was kind of like, aw. When I see a woman without makeup that I'm used to seeing with makeup, I'm like, she looks so good. Like, it's universal. We don't get that many opportunities to see the bare faces of famous women, so I appreciate that. I like it, and it is commented on. She talks about how Ben is used to seeing her like this.
He always say he wants to see you in the bun, you know, no makeup on.
Because you're used to seeing me around the house kind of schleppy. You're used to seeing me kind of like the little old lady at home.
You're gorgeous, and that's what I'm used to.
And this is such a tiny moment of affection, but it feels 1,000 times sweeter than any other Ben moment or thing said about Ben across this media project. Like, that was cute. Just post that and I'll believe you. I'll believe that your husband is nice. I'll believe that your husband likes you. It feels so much more real than anything else because this is an actual off-the-cuff cute thing a guy would say to his wife. Yeah, I see you in your sweatpants with your little bun hair and I love that. That's attractive to me. I'm just a guy and I like to see my little wife without any of her special clothes on. We now go over the history a little bit. 20 years ago, she was inspired by Sexy Ben to record This Is Me Then, and 18 years later, when they got back together in 2022, she was inspired by Sexy Ben, and her manager, Benny Medina, was like, hey girl, why not make another album? And she said, okay, I'll make it about Sexy Ben.
She started telling me, you know, I haven't made an album in a long time, but I really finally have something that I want to write about, and I don't know if anyone else has a story like that in the world.
I actually think they do, to be honest. I think someone else in the world has a story like that. Oh, a story about having a boyfriend? So true. Someone should make an album about that sometime. J.Lo and others interviewed here just keep reiterating this inspiration thing, this urgent need of hers to tell her story.
It takes courage to share your truths. Jennifer is finally in a very solid place in her life where she's able to do those things.
And it's like, okay, damn, tell your story then. God. The name of this documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, comes from a note Ben wrote to Jennifer in a book of their emails that he made for her.
It is every letter and every email that we wrote to each other from 20 years ago and today. The Greatest Love Story Never Told by Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck.
This thing was passed around the studio as a locus of inspiration while the album was being made, and everyone loved this. Except Ben.
My book that I had given her was down there. She was like, I've been reading, and this is the kind of inspiration. I've been showing them the book. I was like, you've been showing all the musicians, all those letters that,
This is not the last time Ben will diplomatically express his bafflement at what's going on here. He speaks with a reserved awareness of the self-indulgent spectacle of this project, giving off the nervous energy of a bystander brought in from the street.
Jen was really inspired by this experience, which is how artists do their work. They get inspired, their personal life, it moves you. I know as a writer, a director, like I certainly do the same things. But things that are private, I had always felt, are sacred and special because, in part, they're private.
He comes off as the reasonable guy on set, the single normal person in the room. My wife's a little crazy, sure, but I'm along for the ride. He's the baffled but kindly sitcom husband. But maybe there's a dark side in there, because apparently it was his idea to shoot this documentary.
Why did you do this documentary? And did you hesitate at all?
It wasn't my idea. My husband, who had a front seat to the whole thing, really was the one who was like, we should be capturing this.
He offered himself up, if this is true, surrendered himself to the process. I will talk about my wife's dumb thing, and I will be the gentle, maligned husband.
The thing you discover, like you do with alcohol, is that there isn't enough alcohol in all the liquor stores in the world to fill up that thing. And in Jennifer's case, I don't think there's enough followers.
I can't know what happened in this man's mind, but I enjoy imagining him as this calculating creature who knew this was going to make Jen look insane and him look pretty okay. Maybe he planned this out like an anime villain. Who can say? Jen discusses her ambitions for the album, how she didn't want to stick to the standard routine of releasing a single, a music video, and then an album.
I wanted to share it with the world in the biggest way, and I don't want to just put out the single and put out the music video and see what happens. No.
She thought that was boring, and what's not boring? Not making a more ambitious or weird album, not doing something bombastic, not stepping into a more adventurous musical space, or like wearing a funny box on your head at all times or something. No, what's not boring is repurposing your album into a movie so it can be one thing but also two things. That's literally just maths. J.Lo wanted to go big mode. She wanted to make a movie. Because, you know, Prince did it.
Prince did it with Purple Rain. He just wrote the story of his life, but made just a movie where he played his songs.
So let's talk about Prince's big movie. Purple Rain is an interesting influence for J.Lo's movie. In it, Prince's character is called the Kid. In J.Lo's, her character is called the Artist. Wow, they're so connected. They're so similar that I'm a genius. You can draw a few parallels between these movies. They both operate as feature-length music videos while trying to elevate themselves to real movies TM. They're both concerned with troubled minds healing from traumatic wounds.
I don't even get me.
They're both bad.
You have to purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
What?
I love you.
No, you don't.
Prince was notably a weird egomaniac, and that shines through more than anything, but he was certainly a stylish, talented, and experimental artist. I mean, look at Bat Dance. Hell yes. You might think it's odd that J.Lo references this because, you know, Purple Rain has texture. Purple Rain has bright powder pink and glittering amethyst purple tones hit by a deep noirish spotlight. Crunchy with all the grain and sweat of 1984. Purple Rain has Prince living in a room full of puppets. But no, J.Lo taking inspiration from Purple Rain makes perfect sense because as much as you can say for its look, or for the music, or for Prince just looking interminably cool in this outfit, it's utterly devoid of almost any of the elements you look for in a competent movie. Purple Rain is filth. Okay, the club is popping, the blush is strong on the faces of its patrons, the night is young and endless, and the lights are low. Prince is the Kid, a guy who performs every night with his band in this grungy place. And a woman is here. She's a singer, and she's looking for a job.
What are
you stupid or something?
She sees Prince. She looks at Prince. Prince sees her, and he lurks behind her like some kind of Dracula. We get what feels like 12 minutes of them staring back and forth at each other, gazes lingering endlessly. This is Prince's movie, and it's about Prince meeting a woman. What else would a guy make a movie about? For a second, the Blade Runner cityscapes flash before your eyes, and the nightlife feels brooding, electric. But it doesn't last. The one character with any semblance of a personality is this guy, Morris Day. He's the movie's major villain, and every moment he's on screen is a breath of fresh air.
I wish you could see my home. It's so exciting.
The point is, here's a certified freak who fits this movie perfectly.
Your lips would make a lollipop too happy.
You think so?
Yes.
Prince's character and other characters, in comparison, are oddly somber and quiet throughout the movie. The kid is patently unlikable, does nothing but complain and throw things off tables, and comes off as a totally slimy creep.
I'm sorry.
Not helped by the movie's insistence on its own The Room-like sex scenes, which feel like they truly just exist so Prince can watch them later on. I'm Prince. I made my own video nasty, starring me. He's unbelievably uncharismatic to the point that I'm thinking, is this really Prince? Is this the guy everyone thinks is such a sexy icon?
Will you help me?
Nope.
The best he can do is this odd, mute brooding, which I can at least understand coming off as mysterious and cool, especially in the ventriloquism scene.
All you need is me.
Of course, the woman likes him anyway, and they enter into a relationship which is very weird. She buys him a guitar instantly. You're too generous, girl. And when she talks about joining the new girl group who'll sing at the club, Prince doesn't like that.
I'm gonna join Morris's group.
So it's here that this movie becomes explicitly about domestic abuse, and while it's plainly misogynistic from the beginning, this moment is the dawn of madness, because no matter what attitude the plot wants to communicate about abuse, and it is, for the record, that it's bad, this is nested inside a film that's primarily about how cool Prince is.
No, you look great.
Why did they do it like this? I don't know, but it is jaw-dropping. So Morris Day, this nasty guy, is plotting with the club's manager to get rid of the kid.
I'm telling you, man, you need to get rid of it.
For much of the movie, he's slowly gaining traction with this goal, as the kid is too troubled to give good performances.
Nobody digs your music but yourself. Fuck off!
Why? Well, it's because of his abusive daddy.
Dad, please. What's the matter with this house?
You're crazy.
Shut up!
The kid, we discover, has begun to copy the abuse that he sees and experiences constantly at home. He lashes out at the women in his life, most prominently in physical abuse of his girlfriend, but also in sneering dismissal of his bandmates.
Told you already. I'm not gonna do your stupid music.
The two women in the band have written a new song, but the kid isn't interested. No thanks, ladies. Leave me to my puppets.
You don't need those girls.
His dad writes songs too, which he thinks are far superior to the kids, and he mentions that he simply doesn't write them down. They live only in his mind.
No, man. I don't write them down. I don't have to. There's a big difference between you and me.
Later, the cruel dad shoots himself, and the shell-shocked kid discovers that he did write down his compositions after all. He miraculously survives, and the kid is struck by inspiration. So he listens to Lisa and Wendy's tune, looks at his father's notes, and conjures up a new song to play at the club. And that song is Purple Rain. When the band play it, the audience are enraptured. Every woman in the house weeps openly. His girlfriend runs to him in tears of awe, no longer concerned about getting thrown to the ground by this man. Nothing matters anymore because the art was too good. He shakes his butt and the movie is over. Throughout the film, people say, "Wow, Prince, you're acting way too much like your dad right now."
Just like your old man.
And, "Oh my god, Prince, you're being totally your dad coded right now."
Like father, like son.
Lay off that.
And, Hey Prince, you're squandering your impeccable and sexy musical talent by being a meanie right now.
Look around you. No one's digging you.
Perhaps this movie seems to suggest his ability to be inspiring and cool and make great songs is the real tragedy. All that rock star cool tragically swallowed up by the looming, unstoppable allure of beating women. It's also just really funny that a film ostensibly about a troubled guy's dark inner world gives us basically zero insight into that world. He never expresses anything in any way other than throwing things and holding that puppet. This man is empty. Who is this man? So I blasted your favourite film, Purple Rain, even though Prince is an icon and a legend. How dare I? And maybe I was too cruel. Elwyn Cotman wrote for Bright Wall Dark Room in 2021, Purple Rain dares to make misogyny a sign of weakness and disintegration. And yeah, it's a complicated movie that had a pretty daring and ambitious approach to a hard and dark plot. It's weird. I like to look at this film alongside This Is Me Now, partly because of how differently these films treat the pursuit of art and how strongly gendered they are. In Purple Rain, women are a kind of resource. Prince can be loved, can be inspired by women, can build his redemption on their backs, and can ultimately make the most eye-watering, heart-searing art of all time through them. They are stepping stones to his creation as a musical legend, bigger than a man. But in This Is Me Now, man is the art. There is no great work outside of the love itself. Embedded into the fibre of the work is the guy and his ability to lead you to salvation. Both movies operate as fantasies of triumph over trauma. In J.Lo's case, she creates a fantasy that inverts her reality. She heals alone and therefore may get her reward. But a major motif of her album is that Ben's return is what allowed her to feel healed. And we could feel this in the movie, even as the explicit text tells us the opposite. Men are the art here. They are everything. Purple Rain director Albert Magnoli didn't like the film's initial script because it lacked truth, by the way. That's pretty funny. Back to J.Lo. While Purple Rain leaves us in the dark about its protagonist, J.Lo's film is doggedly obsessed with exploring her inner world.
Whatever happens, whoever happens, if nothing happens, I'm good.
She spends most of her documentary reiterating just how real and raw and honest it is.
Tell my truth. I have to tell the story the way it needs to be told. This is all I know how to do. This Is Me Now is about truth.
This is me now, for real. And the paradoxical thing is that this is revealing. At one point she weeps uncontrollably, and you get the sense that this idea of honesty that she's clinging onto is a genuine deep need.
I feel like you're just letting everybody down all the time. You're never really just doing anything right.
She's making this movie to cope.
You're not good enough in the movie. You're not good enough as a partner, as a mother, as all of the things.
I like this moment where Ben and Jen write the script together, by the way.
But she still got her beauty, her booty, and her bank account, so bye boy to him.
Bobby, this isn't about me and you.
Do you think they wrote the whole thing like this, just giggling and chuckling? I hope so. Now we must confront the troubles of creating J.Lo's movie. There are many logistical challenges, such as the costs, the uphill battle of getting a musical movie sold.
Musical movies don't sell. Beyonce didn't sell. There was no appetite for a musical film based on an album, no matter what the story, no matter what the star.
And a guy who just doesn't want to play her nasty ex-husband in the movie because he's friends with her real ex-husband.
First of all, I didn't know that you and Mark were like good friends. I didn't know that. Well, that's nice.
Oopsies. Jennifer commits to financing the project herself because streaming services can see from miles off that this won't be a very successful movie.
Who's paying for this? I guess me. Paying for this. And all whatever the fuck that is up there, paying for that too.
And we spend a lot of time on the ins and outs of the mud.
Do you have 12 more seconds to just feel the mud? Jennifer, please. Feel the mud.
Bring those muds, please, one more time.
I gotta go.
Just one more quick one. I just want to see which one you're referencing.
I really like this storyboard drawing of her in the mud. That is so what it's like to be in the mud. One of the documentary's greatest moments is this montage of celebrities rejecting cameo roles.
Taylor Swift is a no.
Jennifer Coolidge, not available. Lizzo, not available.
So he's doing Succession 2 and The Lion King
and Star Wars Andor 2, so he's not necessarily he's not available, but he loves you.
Do you want James Corden too, or is okay, right?
Ariana Grande's unavailable. She's in London until September.
Who's gonna be Khloe Kardashian?
She's making a cameo?
No.
Oh. This is such an amazing, bizarre inclusion that feels like it sits right on the emotional core of the documentary. This desperation and inability to make something great, the absolute farce of it all. It reaches its exhilarating crescendo with J.Lo chastising the celebrities who have shunned her. They're just too scared of her movie, she says.
People scared. Yeah. Scared to put themselves out there. I get it.
Through the cracks in the production here, we see a woman who is terrified. Is this love story beautiful? Is my life good? I don't know, man. Taylor Swift won't be in my movie. Fuck. Next, she talks about Ben's general distaste for the project.
I don't think he's very comfortable with me doing all of this. But he loves me, he knows I'm an artist, and he's gonna support me in every way he can. He can't stop me from making the music I made and writing the words that I wrote. He doesn't want to stop me.
He can't stop me, and he doesn't even want to, by the way. He doesn't want to stop me. At this point, she starts to cry with sheer heaving emotion about how meaningful his love is to her, how it brought her the ability to love herself.
What he made me believe about myself only comes from love. Because nobody else could make me see that.
And it's so sad. This is why she made albums about this man. It's not just that she loves him, but that he is so deeply embedded in her self-esteem. Just as the artist in her movie cannot cope with herself without a man in her life, Jennifer Lopez has made men her core. And as much as she focuses on these themes of healing and being okay alone, it's all ultimately still in service of romance. It's the way you earn your true love, the way you make yourself worthy of it, like it's a maze you have to get through, because without it, wouldn't life just be too painful? Wouldn't you just be an empty, unlovable mistake? Without the knight in shining armor at the end, maybe all that suffering was for nothing. Maybe there's no great lesson that comes from pain. And that can't be right, can it? No, that's too hard. So Ben Affleck is my savior, and I am his. What we have may be complex and thorny, but it can be aestheticized. It can be the most beautiful thing ever. It can be the greatest love story never told. I have to believe that. God, I have to. And for that, as much as I can eat up this baffling, unself-aware, unserious, and flatly unambitious J.Lo project, as much as I love all of that, I feel for her. Her sense of self is trapped in the stilted dialogue and furniture catalog aesthetics of this movie. And for what? She could be at the club. There's a really sweet moment of the documentary where Jane Fonda, a good friend of J.Lo's, here for her cameo, expresses concern over her relationship with Ben.
I feel invested in you and Ben. I really want this to work. However, this is my concern. Like, it feels too much like you're trying to prove something instead of just living it.
And in this beautiful moment, we are all Jane Fonda. We know what's coming, and we hate to see it. Throw that man away. Get into Twitch streaming. You could play Going Under. It's a really good game, Jennifer. You could have so much fun. Jennifer Lopez doesn't expect us to understand her movie.
I don't expect anybody to get this.
The movie's not for everyone, but when it comes to her creative heart, she's uncompromising.
I'm an artist, and that's the album I wrote. And I love it, and I'll stand by it.
This is what she wanted to make, regardless. And that's all fine, that's great, but it's a funny thing to say about an album that is simply very normal. This Is Me Now, the album, is fine. It has some fun moments. I like the stripped back, bouncy feel of the title track. I like the punchy way some of the backing vocals are delivered.
They'd ask me what I'd be. What you gonna be?
I like the relentlessness of the chorus on To Be Yours, and the way it sounds when you play it in 1.5 times speed.
This is what it's like, I would do it twice. Worth the sacrifice. To be yours, baby.
And I like when she says, you know I can't get enough, I love that shit.
You know I can't get enough, I love that shit.
But it doesn't have the funky, smooth sounds of This Is Me Then. In fact, I think it's trying a bit too much to remind the listener of that earlier and far superior album. It just doesn't really have bangers, is the thing. Where's the club-flavored punch of Waiting for Tonight?
Waiting for tonight.
Where's the freakishly warped vocals and layered sax of Get Right? Where's the understated bass line of Jenny from the Block? Come on now. But don't worry about that. Jennifer must assess the umbrella options.
Is this big enough?
Her face. Oh no. And she must survey the mud.
I've been waiting to show you mud.
I would like to see one that's more wet.
I think this part of the documentary where Jennifer is desperately trying to leave the set while all of these people are chasing after her, trying to get her to look at the mud, is one of the greatest documentary moments of all time.
That's the wet one.
She wants this one. She likes this flavor a little wetter.
Here she is, exhausted by the dull, minuscule, relentless demands of this thing she has chosen to do, stuck in this gripping mud detail, sealed up in the car as the mud boys close in, saying, "Feel my mud. Touch my mud." And that's it. That's the truest and most honest representation of life possible. The grin and bear it exasperation, the importance given to such a comical choice, the assessing of the muds. This is what making something means. The mind-numbing minutiae of the artifice. These decisions in how you make them are at odds with the smooth, romantic ideal of creativity. But romance is built brick by brick, mud by mud. The team, don't worry about who these guys are, talk about the delusions surrounding the project here, and it is delicious. One guy keeps saying, "Stop calling this a big music video, fellas. It's not a music video, shut up."
Please stop calling or even referencing music videos, guys. This is not a music video.
This other guy is weirdly concerned with getting cute director's chairs.
We didn't make them.
The longer this documentary goes on, the more Jesus-like the way J.Lo speaks about this project becomes.
I have to tell the story the way it needs to be told. This is all I know how to do.
As if she's on a destined quest, as if this is a gospel that must be brought to the people. She is a love acolyte, and she needs to tell the people about love.
I just want people to believe that love exists. If I can use my story to do that, then as an artist, that's what I should do.
What is this need in her? It is, as the movie explores explicitly, a rehabilitation of herself, a way of casting herself as a person who has finally become whole by accepting her failings.
But that's what my heart's telling me to do.
But it's clear that this need is a bit more than that. This is a way of not just accepting her rotten personal life, the deep regrets and wounds of it all, but squeezing it until it becomes a glistening diamond, bringing it forth as a self-help talisman. If this can become art and beauty and love, then it can't be bad anymore. She can be unburdened. If she can accept her failings, then they're no longer failings. J.Lo wins.
There's J.Lo.
There she is.
Ben now has a crazy, intense moment. He talks about how the movie's inciting incident, the event that devastates its protagonist, is very much an allegory for their real-life breakup, and he asks her, "Do you forgive me?"
I think for us to move on from that, we have to kind of forgive it, forgive each other. You forgive me?
The documentary makes an interesting, cruel, kind of cheap Netflix true crime style choice here and cuts to something else, giving the impression that she perhaps doesn't forgive him. But we soon come back and hear her say,
"Yeah, I think I've forgiven you all the way. I think I need to forgive myself some things."
The pain of this relationship cuts Jennifer Lopez very deeply, even as she does everything in her power to celebrate it, retool it into something right. As the documentary concludes and she successfully sells her movie,
and at the end of the day, someone bought it.
Jennifer sums up the project's theme as embracing the beauty of the scars that we pick up along the way.
Embracing the beauty of the scars that we pick up along the way.
What's interesting here to me is that she characterizes this as accepting that she's not whole.
One of the parts of that was admitting to myself, you're not perfect. You're not completely whole.
And in that is a glimpse of the dark, depressed J.Lo we saw at the Loveholics Anonymous meeting in the film. The J.Lo who has entered full love isn't real mode. This low, unwhole person mangled into a vessel of positivity. There is a liberatory quality to giving up, letting go of the fantasy of your ideal self, but that second part? Well, J.Lo's claws are embedded deep there. There cannot be morning without the beautiful mythological bird flying in to make it seem all inspiring and gorgeous.
What are you doing?
It makes me wonder what this movie could have been if it wasn't mired in the major trapping of the memoir genre as a whole, the need, above all, for a happy ending. If it was J.Lo's version of something darker, more daring, if she just went ape and tanked her relationship with Ben on purpose with a transcendent, profound exploration of the destructive side of relationships, you know, if she got real nasty with it. But that's my fantasy. That's my hummingbird. Choose the right mud, Jennifer. Ben Affleck appears to be the voice of reason in this documentary. Is it normal to aggrandize our relationship in public like this, he asks? Does making this big public statement about how great it is take away some of what makes it special? Are you, a freak, more interested in painting a beautiful picture of your romantic life than living in it with me?
I did really find the beauty and the poetry and the irony in the fact that it's the greatest love story never told. And if you're making a record about it, that seems kind of like telling it.
And it's weird because sure, you can ask these questions, but Ben, you're in this movie.
The top 10 questions are, what should I watch? Where are my refund?
You were in the Jenny from the Block video, much as you may regret it, and you're here too, declaring your special love. He comes off as vaguely supportive, as pretty amiable, but at times I'm left wondering, does this man even like this woman?
I love that you want to play younger even in the autobiographical.
This is not my autobiographical, this is meta. This is me using some of my story from
semi-autobiographical. It's your story, but younger.
Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck filed for divorce on the 20th of August 2024. We can't know exactly what happened, but we can have this glorious, sad triptych that now lives on like ashes scattered into the ocean, an ode to a doomed marriage. I guess the greatest love story has still never been told, but I enjoyed hearing about this one.
I have good intentions with this. I just don't want it to suck.
You'll be scared.
That it's gonna fucking suck
Always gonna be
fucking
scared.
dick.
You'll be scared of sucking till it doesn't.